Hey, what is going on, guys? In today's video, I want to have a conversation with you about why I think the tack shotgun is much better in Yap Map's OGBR, which is a recreation of Chapter 1 Season 5, against historical Chapter 1 Season 5. Now, if you're interested in this series, I can do it on every single weapon, but the point of this is not to compare any weapon in Yap OGBR against like Chapter 3, 4, or 5, because this is meant to be a recreation of Chapter 1, so it's kind of irrelevant what happened in those intermediate chapters. The point is we're going to directly compare against historical season 5 and see if it's significantly better, about the same, or much worse than it was back then. I think I come at this from a unique perspective because I played so much Project Era, which the weapon statistics were almost identical to historical season 5. It means that I remember how the weapons played back then. I don't know how the weapons played in like the intermediate seasons, so I have a direct comparison of gameplay experience of what was it like back then and what is it like now. And with that, let's jump into it. So if I look back to Season 5 in Project Era, and really historical Season 5, the tack shotgun was kind of meh. Wasn't bad by any means, but it also wasn't particularly amazing. You know, with the shotgun delay being introduced in Season 5, that meant that you could no longer use the tack shotgun as a secondary weapon. You know, in Season 3, 4, 2, well, 2 not really because of double pump, but Season 3 and 4, you would really do pump or heavy shotgun first to do that big damage, then you swap to the tack shotgun to follow up. But with the shotgun delay being introduced, you couldn't really do that, so you had to use the tack shotgun as your first burst, and it just didn't work that well in that meta. You have to remember in Season 5, the SMGs were overall much better than they are today, and what that meant is that it was often better to use a big damage shotgun because the SMGs were quite good, so you'd want to follow up with the SMG. Tack shotgun to SMG just doesn't work as well because if you're only going to fire one shotgun shot, might as well take the better damage you had with the pump or the heavy shotgun. The second problem was that the shotgun delay existed with one shotgun, which meant that if you build a wall, shoot with the tack, you would have the stupid delay, which would artificially restrict your rate of fire to be almost as slow as the pump. So there's really no reason to use the tack if your rate of fire is massively limited. Now, what makes the tack shotgun so much better in Yapo GPR compared to Season 5 is down to really 4 reasons. 1, no shotgun delay. Okay? Having no shotgun delay with one shotgun is huge for the tactical shotgun because now what you're able to do is shoot, build, and then shoot again without having that 1.25 second delay. That is an enormous buff. I can't overstate how much that actually matters because it means that when you're, dynamic, you're going through the build, you're making edits, building walls, stairs. When you go to shoot again, you can shoot quickly, and it means that you can, every time a pump user, they shoot once, maybe you build a wall and then shoot again, you can shoot twice. So it means you can shoot 2 for 1 against pumps and, win the trade that way. So huge buff there. Number 2, there's been a decent increase to the body shot damage. You have to remember in Chapter 1, the body shot damage was actually pretty low. It was 67, 70, 74. Now it's 77, 81, 85. That's almost about 15% base damage buff. That's quite significant. It means also that if someone's at 75 health, you can one-shot them to the body, which admittedly isn't the biggest deal, but it also means things like if they have 150 health, you can two-shot them. So overall, I think that's a decent buff. And also results in just a flat, 15% increase in DPS. That's also pretty noticeable, since with attack, you're not really doing shotgun to SMG as much. That's going to be useful to have as much DPS as possible. And the final thing is that the overall weakness of the SMGs makes attack more useful. Because in Season 5, the SMGs were quite decent, so it made more sense to run a pumper heavy and swap to the SMG immediately. But with the Silence SMG honestly being a complete and utter joke, the standard SMG is okay, but not great. The compact, which is effectively the purple gold SMG, is definitely decent, and the LMG is decent. But the point is that SMGs just aren't quite as good as they used to be, which means that running a single shotgun makes a lot more sense now than running a slower shotgun with an SMG. That just doesn't work quite as well. So definitely something to keep in mind. I think that is helping the tack shotgun. Now, it is important to look at the other side of the coin. There are 2 noticeable nerfs to the tack shotgun. 1, the range has been reduced from 8 tiles to 6 tiles. That honestly doesn't matter that much. The tack shotgun spread is so unbelievably wide that if you're shooting beyond 6 tiles, you're realistically doing 3 damage. Not particularly important. Honestly, without the minimum damage that was introduced in Season 6, you're basically doing 1 damage in Historical Season 5. Okay, 1 damage, it's not even worth shooting at that point. Yes, there is that slight chance that they happen to have exactly 1 health and you get, get an elimination that way. But that's really not realistic. So overall, that really doesn't matter too much. And the second thing is the headshot multiplier is definitely lower. Going from 2x to 1.5x, that means your max headshot on a blue one is going from 148 to 128. Not that important. The tack shotgun really doesn't do enough damage to be a one-shot threat. Yes, there were points in Chapter 1. Notably, early on, the tack shotgun could do 185, and at the end of Chapter 1, it could do like 196. In that case, yeah, it could be a legit worry to be one-shot. But it couldn't even do 150 historically. So I don't think that really matters. I think the body damage and the DPS increase is much more important than the headshot multiplier there, as it just, you have to be so close and to hit a perfect shot. You're just not really one-shotting people with the tack. So definitely, I think it's definitely a much better option than Yap, especially since a lot of the other weapons have been nerfed. I think it'd be interesting, if you're interested, to go through each of the weapons and kind of think about, okay, how much stronger or weaker is it compared to historical, and kind of come up with, at the end, a weapon ranking and kind of a guide to which weapons make sense to take, because I think that's very different than historical Season 5. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.